In 1870, a 31-year-old man in Cleveland controlled a mere 4% of America's oil refining capacity. But just 10 years later, that figure reached 90%. By the turn of the 20th century, he didn't just control oil. He had created the blueprint for every monopoly that exists today. His name was John D. Rockefeller. Many mistakenly believe that when his empire, Standard Oil, was broken up in 1911, his influence ended. But the truth is, that system did not die. It evolved. From the gasoline you pump into your car to the medications you buy at the pharmacy, the banks you use, and even the tech platforms where you are watching this video, every single one operates according to the playbook Rockefeller wrote over a century ago. Rockefeller was raised in a household of strange contradictions. A father who was a traveling con man selling fake cancer cures, and a mother who was a devout Baptist. This combination forged a man who was ruthless in business, yet possessed a stone-cold conviction that he was doing God's work by bringing order to the chaos of the market. Instead of gambling on the risky business of drilling for oil, Rockefeller chose refining. He understood that whoever controlled the bottleneck, the process of turning crude into kerosene, controlled the entire game. To achieve dominance, he utilized two classic strategies. First, vertical integration. Instead of paying third parties, he bought the barrel-making factories, the train cars, and the warehouses. He saved every penny possible while his competitors paid full price. Second, horizontal integration. He offered to buy out his rivals at a fair price. If they refused, he launched a price war, dropping his prices so low that his competitors were forced into bankruptcy. This method became the North Star for modern giants like Amazon and Google. #1. The most fascinating irony is that when the U.S. Supreme Court forced Standard Oil to break up into 34 separate companies, Rockefeller's wealth didn't shrink, it skyrocketed. Those fragments eventually became ExxonMobil, Chevron, and BP. But his greatest legacy wasn't money. It was the philanthropic foundation model. By donating hundreds of millions to medicine and education, he didn't just avoid taxes. He fundamentally shaped how modern medicine and pharmaceutical industries are taught and practiced. We don't just live alongside Rockefeller's system, we live inside it. Understanding this system isn't about changing the world. It's about recognizing the truth behind the forces that govern our daily lives. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why, no matter how much the world changes, power and wealth always seem to remain in the hands of a few giant corporations? To answer that, we must look back at the life of John D. Rockefeller, the wealthiest man in modern history. Rockefeller did more than just accumulate riches. He created a formula for how society functions, a formula that every tech billionaire and financial tycoon still studies today. Many of us are familiar with names like Exxon or Mobil, but few realize they are all descendants of a single empire. Rockefeller believed that competition was a sin because it created waste. To him, a monopoly was the ultimate solution, a way to bring absolute efficiency to the economy. He built a closed system, controlling everything from raw materials to the final consumer. Does this sound familiar? It is exactly how Amazon operates today. They are the seller, the shipper, and the cloud infrastructure provider. A point for our generation to reflect on is how Rockefeller used philanthropy to rebrand his image and maintain influence. When he established the Rockefeller Foundation, he effectively reshaped the American medical education system, prioritizing pharmaceutical-based treatments over traditional methods. This created a massive, permanent market for the drug companies in which he held interests. We saw an act of kindness. History shows a century-long business strategy. Ultimately, while Standard Oil was legally dissolved, it was really just a massive reorganization. The smaller companies actually became more efficient, causing Rockefeller's stock value to triple. The lesson here is that the system was designed to protect and perpetuate itself. You cannot escape it when you use a bank, buy fuel, or fill a prescription. However, by understanding these rules, we can maintain a clearer, more skeptical perspective on the financial systems and news headlines we encounter every day. Welcome back. Today we are dissecting a topic that is essential for anyone interested in investment and economic history, the Rockefeller system. Why is it that 114 years after this empire was dismantled, we are still living in a world designed by one man from the 19th century? John D. Rockefeller was more than a businessman. He was the architect of modern corporate structure. Look at how he controlled the market. It wasn't through luck, but through systematic ruthlessness. Rockefeller invented the trust, a model where a parent entity controls multiple subsidiaries across different states to bypass regulations. This was the direct ancestor of today's multinational conglomerates like Alphabet or Meta. He understood that absolute dominance required two things. First, master every stage of production to lower costs to a level that no competitor could survive. Second, consolidate the industry by acquiring rivals when they are most vulnerable. A crucial detail for investors to note: the dissolution of Standard Oil in 1911 was actually a gift to Rockefeller. His net worth surged to an inflation-adjusted $400 billion, surpassing Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk combined. Why? Because the system he built was so structurally sound that it didn't depend on a single brand name. It depended on a method. That method included capturing regulatory bodies and using philanthropy to buy political and social legitimacy. You can see the Rockefeller playbook everywhere in 2025. Major banks use holding company structures to spread risk and optimize taxes. Tech titans use data to identify and crush emerging startups before they can become a threat. We are living in a matrix of efficiency, but the price we pay is the extreme concentration of wealth. Understanding Rockefeller isn't about fighting a losing battle against the system. It's about positioning ourselves to benefit from it, perhaps by owning a piece of the very entities that hold the octopus tentacles of our global economy.